have the book, of course, just giving you time to be able to get your book and get your page marker. To make it clear, that was not the first time the enemy infiltrated my youth, exposing an unhealthy sexual growth. I also remember one day when my sister and I were playing house. My sister was curious about the difference between my body and hers. There was a room adjacent to the bathroom which had this tall dresser. My sister and I were playing in that room. She said to me, because I had a large belly button, which was an outside hernia from birth, that I was a boy, and she wanted me to insert my belly button into her privates. Well, I tried, and it was hard to do, but she told me I had to do it. I was only 4 years old at the time, and she was my big sister. For some reason, things were not allowed to grow and mature naturally for me. I have discovered that the enemy had it out for me since birth and throughout my childhood. He seemed to use the children around me. One in particular was my own oldest sister. I know this is heavy, but this is my truth. At some point, I intentionally pushed those memories way back in my mind, never to remember, so I thought. Woo!
Wow.
It just got so bad while you reading.
I know it was really intense, but you said it. You said it's heavy. It is heavy, but we have to start at the origins. You know, I feel like for that healing conversation, to occur, we gotta pluck up the roots. And that was mighty bold of you to say that. And you know, I'm not even going to go into speculation, but that begs to differ. I mean, not begs to differ. It begs to question what happens to a child for that child to do that to another child. And we'll just leave that question there. But let me say, is this the beginning? Since this is the beginning of what you called in your book an unhealthy sexual growth. You said you were 4 when this happened?
Yeah, I was 4.
Sometimes we got to go out. Everybody just bear with us. We're just, this is an intense conversation as well. And I know it also has an impact. It has an impact on all of us, but that impact to him, it's like when you read it again, it hits you again. You know, and I've read that passage a few times and it hits me again and again. I understand you were 4 years old. I want to say, T, I can relate. I really can relate to the statement. At some point, I intentionally pushed those memories way back in my mind, never to remember, or so I thought. Wow, that right there. I can say that I can relate to that in my own personal life because there's certain things that when it's talked about, it kind of comes rushing back. And what I want to ask you is, it's a 2-part question. Do you find that to be true for most or some of the survivors of abuse that you counsel as well? And part 2, in your professional opinion, why do you think these tendencies to suppress are so common?
Well, there's various ways I can answer that. One of them, I'm just going to talk about me directly. Most of the time when people suppress those memories, because as a child, you know, you're told right from wrong. You're taught what God expects of you. You're taught what is sin. And we're born into sin, but we're shaped into iniquity. So sin is a part of our nature. So the first thing for me is I'm going to get in trouble because I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. So then I say, well, I don't want mommy to know, so I'll keep that as a secret. And then we suppress it because no one else around us is really talking about it to let us know there's something in our head or something that we've done or something we've been involved in. And then if they are, you're being reprimanded. So it's the fear of a child as they grow on whether they're going to get in trouble or not. And I learned in developmental psychology is that not only are we born sexual beings, and that's what our body is, but it is that stage is too early to actually indulge in it because you don't understand what's going on. And literally, a fruit has been bitten. And that gives you exposure to things in your mind and your psyche, your physicality, that says to you, I like it, but I'm scared. Or that felt good, but it felt bad at the same time. What's wrong with what just happened to me? So the challenge we have as children growing up to be young adults, to then to be adults, the struggle with that is we suppress it simply because it's taboo. We're scared of the consequence, the possible consequence, because we think we did something bad, you know? So, and when I talk to, when I counsel different ones, a lot of the times people suppress it. Another reason is because to them, it was so bad. They have been exposed to what should be right, that when wrong happens, they do not want to utter wrong that has happened to them. And that causes so many other emotions and different things to arise. So honestly speaking, there's various reasons why people will suppress that memory. And then another thing, let me just tell y'all the truth about God. I think sometimes for me, in the one example that we'll talk about later, God just wanted me to live again. It's like he cleared my memory of the pain of it, because now I'm getting older and it's still being done in a different person. And so that memory, God said, let me take, I believe for me, let me just talk about my situation, because I know that God considered me and to allow me to forget it so that I can move on. Although I struggled with the rest of my life because of it, he still allowed me to, it sort of got buried. And I can tell you exactly the date it woke itself up. So go ahead. That's in the book.
Yeah, and that was really a lot, because I was following everything, and I'm like, we really didn't have the spaces to have these conversations. It's like, now what I see, and I'm grateful for with this current generation, I guess they call them the Zers, Generation Z, and the generations to come, is, you know, the social media aspect, I think, has a lot to do with people breaking free from the silence, because it's like they're hearing and they're seeing and observing, wow, there's people in this church that went through the same thing, in this community, in this family, in this world, I mean, wherever it is, in this part of the world. And it's like, that relatability, I feel, is a big part of someone finding a comfort to tell their story. I feel the relatability is a big part, because we feel so isolated in those moments.